So basically, I was just thinking, let me get my turtleneck tucked away. So I was just thinking about a conversation I had with an otherwise rather enlightened person, I must say. People who I would consider to be woke, who I've had good conversations with, and which make me believe that they are definitely not narrow-minded. So open-minded people. Okay. But I feel like this is a common trend in open-minded people. There are the open-minded people who believe in a higher being and the open-minded people who do not. There are people who genuinely have such a good grasp on reality and genuinely know so much about what goes on in the world and the ins and outs of government, but not government in the classical sense, but how we govern ourselves and how we want to be governed, essentially. Anyway, long ass interlude. What I'm trying to say is that I don't understand how smart individuals who genuinely have a good grasp on what goes on and are very aware and critical in the way they think and analyze, whatever, props to them. People that are up to grabs with it. Okay, I'm just rambling now. But these people that are this smart and are intelligent and are capable, but renounce the presence of divinity in life. I don't understand that, because how can life be? How can plants grow? How can seasons change? How can nature do what the fuck nature does without there being a divine spark which makes it all go around? It is such an intricate system that we live in. How can that just be through evolution and survival of the fittest? Like, initially, how did the cell know to divide? How did the things know to go out of the water? Yes, instinct. Yes, strive for survival. Okay. But that's circumstantial. The energy which drives nature, which drives, growth, which drives time, essentially, the energy can't be from nothing. What I like to use as well as an example in these discussions is the fact that energy cannot disappear nor appear. All the energy that exists from the beginning of time and will exist after we're gone. So what I'm trying to say is that energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed in its nature. Okay, so the argument that these people come with when I say there must be something that, like, what I like to use an example as well is, apart from the example that I'm talking about now, coming to mind is, how does a tree know how to grow? Okay, how does a seed know where to go? Oh, because of photosynthesis, yes, but how does it know to be an acorn shape, or to be a chestnut shape, or to be an apple tree shape? How does it know? I don't. Hard to explain. Anyway, I'm a bit frustrated today, lethargic in a sense as well. So bear with. The other example that I was using, exactly, the example that people use on me, as a counter saying, but hold on, Lars, hold on there. You know when you just feel oily and dry at the same time? It's kind of annoying. It's kind of annoying. So, and it's a valid argument, which I'm about to throw at you. It's a valid argument. And that's the argument of, why is there famine? Why is there war? Why is there violence? Why is there all these horrible, horrible things on earth if there is a God? That's a super question. But if we look into theological texts, so texts to do with religion, so diverse holy scriptures and things like that, there's a persistent thread. There is a common theme that all these slightly different stories carry. Now I'm thinking of the New Testament, but let's focus on Genesis and Exodus, and is that even a thing? Like creation. And not the part of the days where it's like first day he made light and darkness and all this shit. That's another story, but what I want to focus on is the story of Eden, right? So the way I read that story is that we, as a human entity, and arguably the most powerful animal or life form on earth, of course, because we're fucking dominating it. Did I say dominant or did I say smartest? Most dominant, most powerful. So how did we come to this earth, basically, is the question of Eden. We descended onto earth from heaven through the forbidden act of the forbidden fruit and all that shebang. So it was I think free will or something like that, or knowledge, wasn't it? But the tree of knowledge. So the way I interpret that is that we all stem from this Eden, from this innate place of security and harmony, and where everything's just utopian in a sense, where everyone gets along, and everything that you theoretically think about, like Marxism works, shit like that, things that present a communal living arrangement where things don't go wrong, like countering those stories. Is that really worth mentioning? No, not really. We're getting off track here. I was going to say Salem witch hunt. Like, why did I even think of that? No, it's because, like, Salem, it's a nice community, but the obsession with finding something that's wrong with us persists. And instead of accepting the witch or accepting everything as it is, which essentially creates harmony, we like to point a finger and say, no, they're doing something wrong. Like, someone's doing something wrong, and my ailments stem from whatever outside stimulant that you might want to point your finger to. Okay. So, to the people who say, Lara, how can all these things go on if we are God's children, if God is all present, all willing, almighty? Why would he create these circumstances? Now, there's a distinguishing factor between heaven, or whence we came, or the initial like this Edenic sense of humanity. And there is, which I think we stem from, so our origins, but we've come to Earth. Why? To experience something. What's the difference between here and there? Is that here we have the power of free will. So free will is so essential when we talk about religion and faith and God's presence, or whatever you want to call that source energy being. So, free will, which means, right, it also goes for extremist religious groups who take Holy Scripture as face value, like at face value, take it as an instruction manual. You know, a lot of crimes that have been done in the name of God were not considered crimes at the time of their doing. Or like we people have been able to convince other people to do horrible things in the name of something else, so that this is like a proven thing, right? When we don't feel responsible for our actions, we are able to do horrendous things, essentially. Like, speaking from experience, hello. But yeah, why does all this shit happen? Because there is free will, and only through the experience of free will are we able to experience ourselves as good. Because from where we originate, everything is good, and there is no option for bad, because everything is just so good and perfect and love and like eternal sunshine, rays, rainbows, like the land of milk and honey, the promised land, the sense, the nirvana, the sense of you are one with everything. Oh my god, it just started raining. I was supposed to go in a minute. So that is your aim, in a sense. You come to Earth to traverse all these temptations, all these evil things that are going on, all these sins, essentially, that are considered to corrupt your innate being, to corrupt your sense of self, your true sense of self, what people like to say, the higher self, whatever this is called. What that means to me in common terms is that there is temptation and malice and political fucking corruption on this earth in order for you to experience yourself being your best self, being good, being something that you are proud of, someone that you're proud of, doing things that fulfill you and bring you joy and prosperity in some sense, not necessarily economic sense, despite all those ugly things that happen, that are happening, that will continue to happen. And my grasp of this on a bigger scale, but this is getting very like hokey pokey for you, that's fine. But what I believe to happen, I don't even know if I should go into this because people will be like, that's a bit weird. But it's a way, like, I don't think 100% that's the way it is. And I don't think that you should adopt this belief for yourself. And I don't think this is a belief that even exists. It's something that I've compiled for myself from loads of different little bits of information, of just random conversations that I've had, books that I've read, just like loads of random little things which give me those oh moments, you know? When you randomly ascertain a certain piece of information, it makes you go, fucking hell, that makes sense. And you like see the puzzle piece go click. Those moments, does anyone else have them? Anyway, so what I think is that with every incarnation, because I do believe that we come to Earth multiple times. Wow, this is like a spin-off. Every time that I want to explain something, I have to explain my explanation of it. So we come, I do believe in incarnation, not in a sense that this exact being that I am right now has existed before, but that like fractions of me or essences of me are composed of energy that has lived lives before. So I think that that's why we are drawn to certain things, because we have experienced them before, or we have lived lives in different countries, different periods in time, whatever. So I believe in that sort of incarnation. Maybe with animals, like I haven't really given that much thought, but I think actually just humans, not really animals, because animals, I don't know, that's going too far. Haven't given that much thought, but I do definitely believe that we contain energies of past lives, multiple past lives, and like I might have some bits of energy from one past life, and that past life might also exist as a fraction of energy in someone else, and then I meet them in this life, in this reality, and we bond because we have either been the same person before or met before. Wow, saying this out loud really sounds weird, but that's what I believe. That's what makes me sleep at night. So, among other things. Anyway. Okay. Where was I? Okay, incarnation, blah, blah, blah. So, why we come to Earth? Good question. That's a great question. My answer to the question is, we come to Earth because we intend to experience something. We intend to experience ourselves in the light of a situation. So let me stay on point right now, because there's like 5 different routes I can go here. So for experience. Now, let's take me as a personal example. You know what I find funny that people say, I used to say this because obviously I'm not British by origin. It's disgusting. Exams, plan, maths, great words. Bath. So, I chose this life. Why? In order to experience myself by choosing circumstances that are the complete opposite of my achievements, of my potential achievements, of my achievements that I want to achieve in the course of this lifetime. So, what does that really mean? Can you speak clearly, please? If I, let's leave it with my personal example. If I want to experience what it truly feels like to be independent, for example, that is my life goal. Independence. I want to experience true independence, and that doesn't mean be independent. Like, the act of independence is not the same as the feeling of complete independence, because it might be a structure where you're still dependent on people to support you, etc., but you feel in yourself as a being that you're independent. Also, you might be completely shut off from people and independent in terms of economics and financial situation, but you don't feel independence. You still feel dependent on people for approval and blah, 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 blah. So to experience the feeling of independence, I need to be born into a situation, or I need to find myself in a situation of complete codependence, of complete dependence. Is that Louis Tate? Oh my God, that's so weird because I thought about him the other day. Anyway, that's besides the point. So, independence, yes. I need to pee as well, which is so hard to concentrate. And this is just so weird. Look at this fucking breakout. So, demons might arise on your trip, on your journey through life. What I'm trying to say is that a soul, you before you come to earth, chooses a circumstance, a familial situation, a youth, an upbringing, a geographical location that is the exact opposite of what they want to experience, or that gives them the foundation to pave the way to what they truly want to experience, whether that be opposite or not. Okay, that's maybe a bit too far-fetched, but that's what I like to believe. So where does that come in when we try to convince people who don't believe to believe? No, we don't try to convince anyone to believe anything here. No, that's not what we're about. Convincing people of something already assumes that you are all right and all knowing. That's not true. This is merely an open space for us to discuss ideas and potential concepts and to broaden our minds. Broaden our minds. That's really all I want to achieve. I'm not trying to get anyone to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Are you crazy? You're a witch. Let's burn you at the stake. No. And also I encourage people who are on the side that I'm trying to go into discussion with to come back at me and counter my points so that I can build my argument even better, or that I might even be, swayed in how I feel and think about things. And that means that you're acquiring knowledge, and that means that you're growing, and that means that you're smarter than you were yesterday. That's the meaning of life. Okay, pee. Let's pause it. I'm going to pee and I'll be back. All right, that actually worked. Oh, it's legit raining a lot. Okay. So, in a nutshell, to conclude this little topic, in order to experience what we want to experience what will bring us fulfillment, essentially, even if just temporarily. Now I'm thinking, like, does fulfillment even exist? What is fulfillment if not the act of doing something in every single moment that brings you some sort of benefit, essentially, like this providence of fulfillment, and then reaching a state and then never having to do anything again because you're fulfilled. Like, fulfillment is a daily act, is a daily ritual, is a way to live your life day in, day out, and you can become unfulfilled once you stop doing certain things. Anyway, in order to achieve some sort of fulfillment, there must be grand perils overcome. Grand perils must be overcome. Which means God, or whoever, or for whatever reasons, there have been things put in our life which cause great pain. There have been moments in our lives which have been of utmost difficulty. And whether that's a test or not, I don't fucking know, but it gives you the opportunity to stay true to yourself, to do what you feel like you should do, how you can be your most authentic self in every situation, despite all the fucking circumstances. That's what it is. If it was easy, everyone would do it, wouldn't they? I love that. No, but for real, if it was easy to be happy, everyone would just be happy, wouldn't they? But it's not. It's tricky, and it requires a certain sense of persistence and understanding and flexibility to go for your goals and strive to be a good person and do unto others as you wish they would do unto you, despite of war and famine, despite of all the pain and suffering in the world, despite of what happened to your brother's ex-girlfriend's cousin. Like, people are so easy to disregard or abandon, essentially, a certain viewpoint just because they heard of a story where their viewpoint was either enforced or rejected. So what does that mean? That God gave us all these shortcomings and all these horrible circumstances in order for us to feel the light twice as much when we feel enlightened. If it was all fun and games, being happy and feeling fulfilled would just be like daily humbug, would just be like normal, every day, every day, every day. But it's not, is it? And that holds true when we think about that some of the people who have endured the most horrible, horrible things are actually the most kind people you've ever met. And people who are narrow-minded and have never left their fucking little village are ignorant, bigoted, horrible people. Make a connection there? That's generalizing and stereotyping, and I'm not standing for it. But let's think about this as, why are there horrible things in this earth? Is it for you, specifically for you? It's an opportunity for you to be who you are and to strive to achieve everything that you want to achieve, despite of things that really should be setbacks, really should make you stay in bed all day and give up. Because only through recognizing the obstacles as obstacles, saying, yes, this is a fucking obstacle, it's a cunty obstacle, it's an ugly obstacle, like, makes me cry, makes me scream, makes me want to run and hide. But it's an obstacle that I'm aware of, and therefore I can overcome it. If you fucking do the race blind, or if you say, that's an obstacle, let me not go near that. Yeah. Maybe that was a bad example because I'm not trying to say, like, go to the obstacle, go to the badness. I'm saying be aware of it. Look at it fully. Understand its complexity, upside, inside, outside. Turn it around. And yeah. Maybe then we can conclude that There is something to be learned in every tale of misfortune and every fairy tale thereafter. Sponsored by AU Academy. Bye.